James Richardson.
Introduce you please to a lump of cheddar cheese. Licked one, power one, drunk one, cow one. Kick it.
So, vielen Dank, James Richardson. Das war die Extended Version. Und er muss ran gegen die aktuelle 16 der Welt. Den Weltmeister von 2011 und 2012 aus Stoke-on-Trent, Jackpot, Adrian Lewis.
Welcome back to the action here at the German Darts Open 2019, where we've just seen a wacky match between Daryl Gurney and David Pallett, but Gurney got the job done and remains in contention for a second European Tour title of the year. We've also seen wins for Darren Webster, Jamie Hughes and Joe Cullen so far, and now we have some of the sport's biggest names going head to head. Gerwyn Price going up next against Steve Beaton, who had a 9-darter yesterday. Ian White, the number 2 seed, who's been excellent in this venue in recent years, twice beating Michael van Gerwen, up against another Dutchman in Jeffrey Desvan. And then James Wade against Luke Humphries in a particularly mouth-watering tie. But before that, an all-English affair between Adrian Lewis and James Richardson, the man who walked out to, it must have been played 3 times, Vindaloo then it seemed. But he did score one more than Wayne Jones yesterday to get here. Paul Nicholson was with me for that, and he's with me for this.
Yeah, that was a good game, and James played very well. It's the best I've seen him play for about a year. And that song was played so many times, it was like National Curry Day.
Yeah,
is it National something day today? It's always something.
Make one
First
up.
leg, Adrian to throw first. Game on.
National Sore Throat Day. Poor George. Still working, the ever-present professional that he is. And Adrian,
85.
who's been on the upward tide over the course of the last 6 months. He was involved in a real humdinger with Richie Edhouse last Saturday, and he did everything right. apart from put Richie Headhouse away in the last leg, and Richie hit a 160 at the very death. And seems like that's happening a lot with Adrian at the minute. People are leaving those big finishes at the end of matches, and they're taking care of them. He should take it as a compliment.
Well, he finally ended that title drought that had lasted around 18 months when he beat Barney in the final of a Pro Tour event a few weeks ago.
I think he went through that phase, didn't he, of not really knowing what to use darts-wise. And when he solved that problem, everything just sorted itself out, didn't it? Darts is not just about turning up, playing your best. It's about all of the things that you've got to put out of your mind.
But do you get the feeling that it was just about that for Adrian Lewis when he was at his best? It was just about turning up and playing his best, because that's the way it seemed to manifest itself on the stage.
I think with Adrian, when he was at the top, he was doing things very naturally, and it was just normal. But it's how you react to adversity, and that's what he's been dealing with the last few years. There's always been something around the corner for him.
Well, he's declined to go for the bullseye there with James Richardson on 133. Will he come to regret that decision?
Just got away with it.
88. Adrian Uruguay 18.
He's curiously left double 9.
He's on the first
Maybe
leg.
he's going around and doing the Dave Pallet.
Yeah, I'm going to say it wasn't the first time we've seen a player decline the bull, but wasn't quite as theatrical as David Pallet in his approach play there.
I don't think anything is. That was very much like the David Pallet we love. You know, all the way through his career, he's been very unpredictable. And he was, yesterday, I said to him in the practice room, that was very mundane from you.
So
It was
you're
a bit
to
slow.
blame. You're to blame.
Absolutely not. Holding my hands up saying I'm not to blame. But that was very exciting from Dave today. Unfortunately, didn't get the result. But it's good to see Daryl Gurney smiling so much. Things are going right for him at the minute. He could well get his second European Tour title this weekend. But Adrian is looking for his first in nearly 7 years.
Can't find his first maximum just yet.
Yeah, James was excellent against
93.
Wayne Jones yesterday. 6-5 was very befitting the match because it was very, very close. Some really good stuff in there. And James scrapped all the way to the end.
81.
Adrian looks a little flat to me today. He doesn't look full of beans. He may have to do some scrapping of his own in this match.
58. Adrian Uruguay 151.
Well, we know he's more than capable of turning it on any time, and he might turn it on here. Not quite.
95.
He's left himself in a good spot to double his lead. Could only be stopped by Richardson taking this out, but that's not going to happen.
If that keeps happening in this match and Adrian is leaving James on 1-3-3s and 1-4-8s, there's only one winner. Because Adrian usually polishes these off. Usually.
36.
Just doesn't seem to be coming out of the hand right today. It seems to be going in very upright, that dart. May have some adjustments to make, but double 14 for James.
Was that too close? No, he's found a way to use the barrel. Did seem to be hovering over the double, like it might just obstruct him there, but he used it to full effect.
Well, you would think that the ideal guide for a double like double 14 is to have it right on the wire. Well, the barrel of James Richardson it's quite wide.
81.
So his perfect guide is maybe 3 millimeters to the left, just so we can bounce it off the barrel. That just goes to show how good a dart that was.
The pair have met
96.
6 times before. Lewis has won 5 of those meetings, but the one that Richardson won was the only one that took place on the European Tour. It was at the German Darts Masters in the last 16, 3 years ago, and Richardson won that 6-3.
Surely. Oh, it's the old rugby shot through the posts. Yeah, someone's got their jackpot cup. Available from the stand at the very front of the hall. Surely.
190.
Why haven't we cut to the James Richardson Cup after the maximum there? Is that because there isn't one?
128.
Sure someone's got one. It's got Vindaloo on it.
And 180 followed by a ton checkouts. They might make one, but it's not going to happen. I was looking for double top.
Every time someone goes tops, they miss out the board. They go for the 60 with dart 3. The amount of times they hit that 60. Now, double 12. That is an exquisite finish from Adrian Lewis. Just when James Richardson was coming back at him, he was up to it. That's really good from Adrian.
140.
But whoever wins, it's either going to be England v Scotland clash or an England v Germany clash in the last 16, because the victor of this will take on either Highlander Henderson or Max Hutt, the defending champion here.
Bit of vigour in Adrian from that 180. I like that. I said earlier he looked a little flat in the first couple of legs, and sometimes if you feel that, then celebrating a 180 with a bit of passion is a way of upping the adrenaline. I think that's a good sign for Adrian.
I think he's quashed any momentum with the following visit, and now Richardson has piled on the pressure with a maximum of his own.
Loves a 180, does James. He is very capable of hitting many a 180 in a match. I remember him playing in Leverkusen in 2018. He was involved in a match. It was on the Saturday, and he hit, I think it might have been 7 or 8 180s in the match. Bullseye.
37.
Well, Lewis has the chance here to open up a two-leg gap. Another there for double 13. Wonderful stuff from Adrian Lewis, who just watched Richardson miss a dart for that leg and snatched it away in emphatic style.
Fifth leg, Adrian to throw first.
Oh, he's just swiped right on 146. What does that mean? That was a brilliant finish from Adrian Lewis, and there was someone with an Adrian Lewis shirt on in the crowd there who just couldn't contain their excitement.
59.
Well, to answer your question, it means that he's halfway to getting another match at the German Darts Open.
He's in the mood for big scoring, is James, and when he's like that, he never takes his eyes off the target. But you can't leave Adrian a crumb. He's going to mop that up.
Here is a picture of focus, isn't he, James Richardson? Doesn't look at his opponent's darts at all, just stares at the floor. And his eyes pierce the board when he approaches the hockey. Good stuff, this.
Yeah, it's a great game. Can't afford to underestimate James Richardson. He has got a lot of European Tour experience. Hasn't gone beyond the quarterfinals. But there's a lot of great players who haven't even done that. There is that Adrian Lewis fan who's having a ball right now.
He's not the only man wearing that shirt that is enjoying himself, because Adrian seems to be loving life on the stage this afternoon.
And why not? Well, James usually wears an emblazoned Darts for Heroes shirt. He's gone for a more subtle blue
65.
this time around. He does have his logo on his left sleeve, supporting his favourite charity.
The 146 has already gone. 156 not going to follow, but this 86 is looking very, very important for his opponent.
60.
Puzzled that he stayed on the 60 there. I thought a switch after dart 1 was probably the prudent thing to do, but James needs to go 18 bull here. I've already seen one big treble missed by Whitlock today. Oh, sorry, one big single, and it cost him. But going for the single gives you the shot at least. And now, Adrian Lewis for a 4-1 lead. Still needs that 60. Double-double.
There's one. And there is the other, and Adrian Lewis's finishing is almost flawless here as he races into a 4-1 lead. And as you mentioned early on, Paul, Lewis looks up for this.
Sixth leg, James to throw first.
He knows that James is no mug. He knows he's got to play properly today. He's probably had a little gander at the draw and said, you know what, if I want to win this tournament, I'm going to have to play properly. I'm going to have to maybe play the best I've played in years. Because if you look at who's left in this tournament, It's a who's who of the creme de la creme.
60.
Some people would suggest that Adrian Lewis is the most talented player in his section of the draw. He's the number 7 seed. He's in the bottom half, which means Stokes, number 1, Ian White, is the top seed in that part of the draw. But as I mentioned, if Lewis wins it, it'll be Hop or Henderson in the next round. And then either Darren Webster, Ian White or Jeffrey Desvan in the quarterfinals.
Maybe a lot of people are there thinking that Hop is the favourite for that section
60.
purely because of it being a home game and how vociferous the crowd were last year. And let's face facts, he did get some help from the crowd last year.
42.
Can anyone bring themselves to boo John Henderson?
I dare them.
Look at
I
this.
dare him to hit the ball.
Didn't have to go for it, but
36.
Lewis needs to fill it up to leave a finish here.
I think there's going to be a lot of people who will boo John Henderson tonight, and it won't be because of how they feel about John, it's purely because of who he's playing against. Double 8 for James to get within 2.
He's on the stick flag.
Well, he's very angry that he didn't hit the bullseye, but he'd be very happy that he hit double 8.
Stopped Adrian Lewis in his tracks a little bit after Lewis had taken out a hat-trick of clinical finishers, 70, 146 and 96 in consecutive legs. Sorry, 78 wasn't it, the first one?
As Adrian hit the wall a little bit scoring wise. The last couple of legs he's just lost that first start a bit. That's a little bit better, he can build on that. There she is.
100.
And just a lack of power in that third dart, that's all it was lacking. Line was perfect. But James' scoring has been very, very good.
140.
Yeah, the debate around Adrian Lewis's game has been more about the technique, hasn't it? The rhythm.
So much better when he's a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that's it. He sped it up and then he slowed it down, and in the end wasn't making his mind up.
Well, if you can visualise a seesaw, you've got too slow on the left, too fast on the right. When he's playing like this, he's smack bang in the middle. Sets up really nice the first start, the second one just follows, third one usually just follows unless he makes an adjustment. He has times where he goes too quickly, times where he goes too slow. I think this rhythm for Adrian is the best one.
50.
He's looking for the 25 as a minimum there, and he didn't find it. So Lewis.
Double 16. Ooh, way inside. Been a couple of darts like that in this tournament where they've been way right to double 16.
This has to go. You feel could go. Tops he wants. Just beneath the wire.
He didn't know if that was in until George called it because he was shielded by the first dart. He knows he's not coming back, and Adrian puts it right in the bottom corner.
Adrian Lewis. James to throw first. Game on.
Adrian's not in the mood to give too much away.
60.
He may not have played his best game today, but that's a measure of how good Jackpot is. He's averaging just short of 97. And this is a B game for Adrian. He has more in the tank.
100.
Yeah, a lot more in the tank. We know that of Adrian Lewis.
Well, Richardson's maintained what he did yesterday,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And he did have to come back in that match. It was a bit of a seesaw affair of its own against Wayne Jones, but Richardson kept up his levels and in the end had too much for Wayne. It looks as if Adrian's got too much for James this afternoon.
You would think so, but will there be a twist in the tail like there was 6 days ago?
But that tells the tale, doesn't it? The same number of darts at double. Lewis only missing 2, Richardson only hitting 2.
36.
Now, when Adrian does that gesture where he swipes things away, it's, I think, a mental thing for him as well, where he's just trying to forget about what's happened.
140.
It's gone now. And he won't be happy that that 140 was planted in from James. He's got to be careful here. Back up to the 60.
65.
No finish, so 6 from 146.
Is he going to repeat the feat?
He is a very aggressive player, James Richardson. He doesn't do laying up. Sees a shot, he goes for it. Simple as that.
Pressure is coming.
121. Danger required 41.
It could have been worse. But 2 at tops to stay alive.
21.
And now the end could be nigh.
79.
Guillotine is hanging. Is he going to pull down the lever and stop James Richardson's chances in the German Darts Open? The answer,
59.
at least for now, is no.
Danger required
Not sure he could
20.
locate the lever, Paul. Shuffling around the hockey, trying to find a clear route, and we spoke about this a few times. That dart that just blocks a double is one that players are actively trying to avoid now.
Yeah, people are looking for new game plans, aren't they?
83.
Especially with the upright angle dart that you've got from someone like Gerwyn Price, Daryl Gurney, Adrian Lewis. They're 3 great examples of that. So
41.
we use 60 as an example. They hit a 20 right in the middle of the segment, and then all of a sudden that big flight that they use is shielding a good see the logic in that. The last thing you want to do, the very last thing you want to do, is bust a score, potentially when you've got 180 left. We saw
100.
Chris Dobie yesterday. He was snookered, had to go to the left of the hockey, and he found himself on 72 going for a 20 from an odd angle and hitting the treble because of a deflection.
We'll see Chris Dobie tonight. He takes on Rob Cross. It's looking like we'll see Adrian Lewis tomorrow.
Ooh, some resistance.
190. Danger required
Still in the hands of Jackpot, though, to get it done.
14 for the bull, for the win, and Adrian Lewis does get the job done against James Richardson. A very decent display from Lewis, who wins it 6-3 and moves through to the final day of action, and will take on either Max Hupp or John Henderson here tomorrow afternoon. They're coming up tonight. Coming up next is Gerwyn Price against a man who hit a 9-darter yesterday, Steve Beatonowitz. But here and now, Lewis goes through.
Jackpot Adrian Lewis ist seiner Favoritenrolle gerecht geworden. Er bezwingt James Richardson, ruthless. Adi, congratulations. Happy with the game.
I thought my finishing was really good. My scoring was terrible.
But the fun 146 was not too bad.
That's what I mean. My finishing was fantastic. My scoring as a whole wasn't so good.
What do you expect from this weekend?
Obviously, a lot more than what I've just shown. Scoring-wise, I think I've got a lot more give than what I have been giving. So it's hopefully it's onwards and upwards now.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, thank you.
Adrian, thank you. Jackpot Adrian Lewis. Der sagt